Someone asked me to speak out on a situation that occurred about 5 years ago in the UFC, if you will, with a uh, MMA fighter competitor named Nick Diaz or Diaz, and the whole situation surrounded around or was around uh, him being suspended for a 5 year period for marijuana use, testing positive for that, which basically meant that he was breaking the rules. Now, I saw something not too long ago which was interesting to me, and I agree totally with it, and that was from the promoter Dana White, and he was being interviewed about Nick Diaz's situation, and he said that he used to be reactionary and he would rather get all of the information. This was 5 years ago, and I'm the same, but my methodology is a little bit different, and I'll tell you how. Uh, have you ever read a book and you didn't exactly read the very beginning throughout the whole book and get to the end, but because of your past experiences, you could skim through the book and pretty much get the gist of what it was about? I got the gist of what it's about. That's what I'm saying, as it relates to this Nick Diaz situation. I saw an interview with him about him being suspended and his reaction, and excuse my expression, he was pissed. He expressed that, and he thought it was pretty severe. Now, since then, since we're in 2021, he may have been reinstated. I think that's possible. It may have already happened. I'm not sure. I don't follow the UFC or the MMA thing that closely anymore. But I will say this: a couple things. One thing about the interview, or one of the interviews with Nick Diaz, was I didn't like his attitude. Very arrogant, and he kept making the statement that he was the best fighter. No one could beat him, in other words. He said, I'm the best fighter in this sport. And he was highly upset that he had been called out and fined $150,000, I think it was, and that additional uh, 5 year suspension. He thought it was a bit too much. Now, piggybacking on what Dana White said again, what's the evidence? According to Dana White, in his brief interview, that was Nick Diaz's third uh, situation. It happened twice before that last time. So he had three accounts of the marijuana kind, if you will. And there were some other things about him in terms of his behavior, just in general. So these two things. First of all, I don't have very much respect for someone that says that nobody can beat me and I'm the best out here amongst everyone else is out here. To me, that's a childish, juvenile behavior or response. That's someone who's not fully mature. That's it. You haven't grown up yet. Anyone can be beaten. I can be beaten. I have been beaten in sports competition before. I have. As many things that or events that I have won, I have been beaten as well. But for him to make that statement, that broad statement, that he's the best in the field, I'm not buying that. I'm not listening to that. That's just bravado. False bravado at that. and doesn't say very much about his character. And if it be true that that was his third incident with the marijuana issue, then he should have been suspended. Now, maybe 5 years is too much. I don't know what the rules of the particular organization is or was as it relates to marijuana usage. But if you are in someone else's house and they have guidelines, rules, and regulations, and you're going to participate under that umbrella and in their particular events and venues, you have to abide by their rules. You can't be an island all to yourself, because you are a commodity to them at that moment, but no one's indispensable. So you can be fired anytime they deem it necessary, removed, released, penalized, or what have you. So unless you control your own destiny completely, or you control your platform, you don't have anything else to say. Just abide by the people's rules. I have nothing against Nick personally. I have no reason to. But I'm speaking from the viewpoint of an older, very advanced martial arts master. And that's really it. If I go to someone else's house, martial arts, if it's jujitsu, karate, kung fu, taekwondo, whatever mixed martial arts, it doesn't matter. I am going to abide by their rules. I'm not going to bring my own set of rules to your house and say, well, I'm going to do it this way. It's your house, and I'm going to respect that, or I just won't participate. I won't go. Nick should have thought of the same thing. And again, if it is true that he had 3 offenses, if they had given him 10 years, it would have been okay. Until you can control every aspect of the art as it relates to you, follow the rules. It's really that simple. Now, again, before I close, the sun doesn't rise and set on any of us. All of us are temporary. All of us have fallacies, we have flaws, imperfections. None of us are totally perfect, even though we might have the mindset of attempting to be the very best version of us as we can possibly be. So just remember this: you can't beat everybody. Now, for those people who keep calling me Bruce Lee fanboy and so forth, as a footnote, I said Bruce Lee many times, and I'm not the only one, was the greatest martial artist of our time, and he was. Now, could Bruce Lee have been beaten? I've said this also. Yes, he could have been. I've never made the statement that Bruce Lee could have not been beaten. Never did. I did say that no one ever stepped up and challenged him and did it. It never happened. So you come to your own conclusion. As far as this Nick Diaz thing, to me, it's a done deal. If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. It's that simple. Until you control your own destiny completely. This is Brother Teacher. What do you think? I'm out.